I only have two balls, so how am I supposed to have a third nut? Like, you can
Yeah,
only
I
bust
guess.
two of them.
So,
Guess you
anyways,
do.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Should I leave in that last sentence at the beginning of the clip I post on the Monkey D. Jones channel? Just a nice
Naturally.
transition.
I
Oh
also
man.
come all over the place.
That's fair. We watched episode 4 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Me and Biggs did. Florian didn't, but he's here to give some
Never
creative
will.
commentary. He never will.
Yep, definitely.
Uh, Biggs, last episode I said JoJo's could have ended at episode 3, and episode 4 is kind of reinforcing that belief for me. I've given a lot of questions without any good answers. So JoJo's house burns down at the end of the 3rd episode, and his new friend Ario Speedwagon is gonna let him rest up and recuperate at his house, I believe.
That's where you would have ended it when his house burns
Because
down.
he essentially defeats the villain in episode 3,
Ah.
and then in the
But
post
does
credit
he?
scene the villain comes back.
Oh my god.
But in his own house, Ario Speedwagon finds the childhood girlfriend, Arena Pendleton, is tending to JoJo's burn wounds. And I guess JoJo's been passed out for like 3 days and doesn't even know she's there. Biggs, how is she there?
So I thought maybe my memory is failing me, but I thought like she found out about what happened and like tried to find him, and then she like went to the house.
She went to Ario Speedwagon's house?
Well, she like found out where he was.
How?
Is
How could you possibly do that?
if one of the prominent figures in town, entire house burns down, you're gonna find out like what happened and where they
Oh,
went.
naturally.
Surely.
I mean, Ario Speedwagon takes this damaged, burned up, unconscious man, takes him to his house and puts him in his bed. Like, is he going around town telling everybody what happened himself?
Well, no, but there was
Nobody
like
else knows!
there was police there. Obviously, if the cops never went back to the station, somebody knows.
Well,
So
they didn't have any health care, so just a random person had to take him. Wow.
Arena Pendleton, she breaks into Ario Speedwagon's house and she's tending to JoJo's wounds, and nobody knows what's going on.
The problem is, Florian, they're in the UK, so he has to be on the waiting list to get in.
And it's like 1870 or some shit.
Do they have a waiting list? Is that how it works? Wow.
I don't know.
So yeah, they're reunited, and that was great. I don't know about the details of like how she found out where he was and that kind of thing. I think it was just kind of a maybe
Plot
people won't
holes.
care like
Well,
how this happened.
any
Everything must be
mangaka should
explained.
know that their fan base is autistic as fuck. That's why they're reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and not playing football. So we're gonna notice when shit don't make sense.
Well,
Sure.
I thought you didn't like it, so now you're autistically obsessed with it already.
Both.
Ah, that makes sense.
Like, I guess it doesn't surprise me because like the whole part of Dio being at school or something when the dog died, like you were so confused about that, and it's like I didn't even think about that when I watched it. So I guess it's just differing
It's the
ways
burden of my vast intellect, Biggs. It like my IQ is so big and heavy, it weighs me down in life and causes
See,
depression.
the problem is, I guess probably gonna get some hate for this, but I guess I see animes as almost like kids shows. So some
Okay.
of that really like particular things doesn't matter as much.
How would that be offensive to anyone? Damn, imagine.
Because most people take a lot of pride in whatever anime they're fans of,
I
I
mean, I
guess.
think objectively, a lot of anime are not appropriate for children.
But they are still very
I mean,
ridiculous.
if we're gonna make the argument that anything animated is just for children, Florian, you got a lot of explaining to do for your movie taste.
I mean, like, there's just so much children stuff, right? In anime. I mean, I guess even like, what do you do with Dragon Ball? Is that for kids at all,
I'd
or
say
is that
Dragon
not?
Ball is super duper for kids.
Because it's got blood and gore too, but I mean, like,
Not
mostly for
really
kids,
that
right?
much. Like it's not like Biggs' little sister reading Berserk. that's real blood and gore and like rape and violence and shit. Like,
Yeah.
One Piece and JoJo, Naruto, you get like a little bit of red splashes of blood once in a while. That's about
Well,
it.
well, well. There you go. Like most of the really big anime that actually keep going are in fact for kids. So
Yeah, and like
You could say
sure,
that they're for
there's
all ages, probably.
for
sure,
kids.
sure.
Well, it's like
So I
Steven
guess what I'll
Universe,
say,
Florian. Do you think Steven Universe could be appreciated by an adult, or is that just for kids?
I mean, it's definitely for kids. Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you can admit that.
I mean, it's literally about a child growing up. Like, how much more for kids can it be?
JoJo's is about a bunch of big burly men.
Yeah, I know. Well, I feel like they're a kid's fantasy, but who knows? I haven't really seen it, so
I guess I'll put it this way then. It's not okay, it's not for kids, but it's made with kids in mind to where it's like we're not going to go super in depth in every detail because kids don't care about that stuff. They
What
want to
about Death
see
Note?
the next cool thing.
Death
the
Note, the whole
most
point is
kiddish.
paying attention to the details, right?
Yeah, but that's
That's not for
like I
kids
said,
because you
it's
like
not
that
like
one.
it's not for well, so like you had said, JoJo's, Pokemon, all those there are ones that are pretty popular that I feel are easier to watch for younger people because
Hmm.
it's like not every child is going to go out and watch Dead Man Wonderland, I guess. So
They
yes,
shouldn't because they
I'll
didn't finish it. Like that's the main reason why they shouldn't.
and it's still so sad.
It's like,
That's so sad.
really cliffhanger ending, and it didn't like the manga writer like fucking died or some shit.
No, he didn't. He just
Oh
gave
no.
up. He said he didn't
Oh,
want to do it anymore.
fuck
It was
that
so
guy.
sad. I
Oh, even
know. It was
better.
such a good show because I remember you talking about it all the time. I finally watched it and I was like, "Oh, cliffhanger! What's gonna happen next? Oh, that's it. Oh, they're never doing any
Yeah,
more."
it's over.
Ah, the worst. Oh no.
Okay, back to JoJo. In episode 2, I got hyped as fuck because they introduced Jack the Ripper, and then they did nothing with him. I thought,
Wow.
well, what's going on? How are you going to bring in Jack the Ripper and not use him? Thankfully, we have a Chekhov's gun situation, folks. A Jack the Ripper introduced in Act 1 needs to start killing in Act 2, and he does just that. Because
Ah,
Dio shows up and he like hypnotizes him with the magical vampire powers to make Jack the Ripper one of his loyal servants. And that will lead to a boss battle at the end of the episode. So my satisfaction for that is about where it should be.
but but would Jack the Ripper even make a good boss? Like, I feel like unless you're a hooker, he's probably not that dangerous to you, right?
Well,
So
spoiler alert, Florian. Wait, go
no,
ahead,
go
Biggs.
ahead.
I was
No,
gonna
you
say
go
that
ahead.
the fight itself is like Jack gets one cut on him, and then he like JoJo uses his hem-on ability, which is it's kind of like hockey in One Piece, but of course this came way before, so I have to assume Oda ripped this off. But he can essentially like punch him through the wall without injuring the wall, so it's kind of a lackluster defeat.
So
Wow.
I think the reasoning behind the Jack the Ripper and like the mini boss scenario is to show, Dio is starting to accumulate like what do you call them?
Minions.
Like yeah, minions, I guess.
Everyone loves
Team Rocket
minions.
grunts.
Yeah, like little grunts. That's the
Even
word I was
better.
looking for, is grunts. Like he can use his abilities to like, create little grunts that'll run out and do his bidding. I think that was kind of where they were going to like set the stage for what Dio's, setting up, I guess. I don't know if he was supposed to be like a big scary person that, we feared wouldn't be beaten or something or becomes like the
Hmm.
next big bad. I think he was just a small fry.
Yeah, you need mini bosses before you get back to the rematch with the main guy. We are
Yeah, that
introduced
makes
to a new
sense.
character with a checkerboard top hat named Baron Zeppeli. Is he named after Led Zeppelin? What is Zeppeli, Biggs?
I think
Wow.
there
No
was
idea.
yeah, loose referencing there. It's hard to keep track of. There's so many like music references in this. But what do you think of Zeppeli?
I'm gonna have to see where they go with it, but I'm a little confused why we have this Ario Speedwagon character and this Zeppeli character. I feel like they could have been condensed into one, because he just needs like this new father figure who will also teach him this secret fighting technique of Haman. And I'm wondering why couldn't have Speedwagon just taught it to him? Like, why do we need this weird freak showing
Uh,
up?
because like I had brought up before, it's bringing on the beginning of the Joe Bro collection.
Okay.
He's basically going to accumulate quite a few friends, and I would say sometimes they don't really do a whole lot, but there are other times where like they all individually matter like to what's going on.
Oh no, don't you hate when there's just way too many people who join the party?
Well, that's
Damn.
basically the entire premise of Dragon Ball is let's build a huge posse and then
Yeah.
nobody does anything for the whole show. And it's
Yeah,
just Goku and his
most of
kids.
them are terrible and useless though.
That's what I'm saying. Like all
Yeah.
those, like most of Dragon Ball characters could have been written out.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
but
the good
they're more like NPCs than real players, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah.
they've all got
a-
their little comedy gimmick at least.
yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the difference with this is as the show progresses, like all the characters get fleshed out and they all have like their own meaning, like what they do is important to the rest of the show.
Okay. So I guess I'm fine with this new character. Got a funny little mustache and outfit, and he's teaching him the ways of
Oh yeah.
hockey. You know, there's observation hockey, which is what I'm calling ham on now, because I don't want to talk about ham all day. It's kind of reminding me of food. But you can you can observe the world around you with it, and like damage things through walls and stuff. Am I missing any other attributes of this power, Biggs?
So I think the way it's described, and I guess the way I still kind of think it works, is they use kinetic energy of sort, and they can build it up and like wield it in a kind of way where it's almost like a bending technique, where it does what they want it to do precisely just by touching things. They don't necessarily have to be super accurate with it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the scene where he's like punching the wall, it's showing them being able to force the hormone to go through the wall to their actual target. I guess is how that kind of worked. It's very
Uh,
strange.
yeah. It. I feel like there's not a whole lot more to the episode other than what we've said. Like at first, Zeppeli is fighting Jack the Ripper, and I was a little disappointed. Like, what? So you're just gonna have the teacher character show up and then fight the battles for him? But thankfully, he did expect JoJo to finish him off. It's just too bad that the fight between JoJo and Jack was literally less than 2 minutes long. I feel like I could have got a lot more out of that.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of rushed it towards the end of the episode, and I think it was also kind of trying to show how powerful the hormone is. Is just like some small fry like this we can just beat in a couple minutes. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that big of a deal, I guess. That's
Well,
probably what they were doing with that.
I'm glad they're finally like not making Jack the Ripper to be a big deal. That's cool.
Yeah, they dealt with him in like one episode. Uh,
Yeah.
Biggs, how many episodes are left in part one?
There's five. This was
Five
episode 4,
more?
right?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there's
so
five
next
more.
episode is Hump Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. What a name.
Yeah, is
Who's
that
gonna
it for
get
this
humped?
episode, Biggs? Do we have anything else? Do you have any questions you want to ask me for predictions?
Oh boy.
And Florian can answer too, see who gets them right.
Yeah.
So with this new power of Hamon, where do you think that's going to take JoJo as he like gets empowered with this ability?
Does he ever have such powerful hormone that he can like just make fodder enemies faint just by being in his presence?
uh, I'm trying to think back and also not spoil. I don't believe so.
Okay, so it's not completely the same as hockey. That's my only prediction for that.
Oh, that's useful.
What about you,
It's not.
Florian? What do you think Hamon can do?
Well, I think it's definitely gonna stick exactly to doing things behind walls and nothing else.
Okay.
He's gonna spy on girls from behind the walls and
And he's in a-
everything.
he's-
Oh boy, don't you know?
Really?
I was thinking he would like go up and punch the building so all the women in the shower get injured horribly because it just goes straight
Yeah,
through the wall.
don't
Yep,
spoil the
actually.
future of part 1, Florian.
I don't know this stuff.
Conqueror's Hamon, that's right. Somebody says, Mumkey, you're gonna love part 2. Do you concur, Biggs? Will I love part 2?
So for me, like I told you before, it was like a snowball effect. Each part that I got into, I liked even more than the last. So I feel like you're gonna like part 2 a lot too.
Okay.
It's it was really jarring to me because each part, the art style changes a little bit and sometimes a lot. So
weird.
going from each art style was very strange, and it took me a few episodes to like get used to it. But I think it's great.
Do the female characters' boobs get bigger every arc, and there's no real explanation why?
I feel like they get smaller.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Well, that warrants a whole hell yeah. Is the idea of small titties, Florian? Jeez.
It's fine. It's pretty rare to get some precious small titties. Okay.
I promise you, it's not rare to find small tits.
No, I
It's
mean,
not rare at all.
Animation, jeez.
Wait,
They
what's
always
that?
get big. In anime, they usually get big.
Oh, you talk about animated girls. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.